Okay, so this is going to try to be an FC skip tutorial. I think I know all the parts of the trick now, so I think I can teach it. A couple of things to start with. My controller is Xbox One controller. I have B mapped to B and left bumper, and pause mapped to pause and right bumper. I use the B button to spin dash and ground on rails, and so just because of the way human hands are built, you kind of have to use other buttons to use to do FC skip. I know Dage has a GameCube controller, so he uses B, which is below the A button, so he doesn't have to use left bumper, which you've got no option because GameCube controllers don't have left bumpers. But pause bumper pretty much definitely needs to be on right bumper. Pause needs to be on right bumper, whatever you do. Also, you can enter Final Chase one of two ways: first load or from a restart, and that alters where you are on the initial rail. So that makes a difference. I believe it's easier from first load, so that's how I'll teach to start with. I have got Onval's tool on right now, which is a save stating tool. I'm going to set a save state about now, and this is where I will go from. This is how I practice. I just set a save state from here and then go. So yeah, I'm just holding B with left bumper, and first part is to get to 8.19. And so all the steps I try to break down into just as simple as possible, just so there's less room for mistakes. This part here, you want to pause and then press A on the very next frame, and this will send shadow off at that angle. You've jumped off the right frame if you go off at this angle. It needs to be this angle so shadow can actually stick to the far side of the ramp. So just to explain what I do, because we need to get there, and I have a path that I take. I kind of go to the side, and then straight, and then to the side again. So like diagonal, straight, diagonal. So at about now, well maybe a tenth of a second earlier, I would pause, just as soon as you can after you jump. Hold up right, unpause, so we start moving further, and I'll do that just now. So as you can see, this structure here, this red line, we want shadow to be pretty much just under there, and this will always be about 8.75. It's 8.80 here because I started holding the upright a little later. And then from here we'll hold up a bit for about 0.25 seconds, and then up again for another 0.25 seconds, but without holding A this time, so not using cover frames. So I know that I haven't been using cover frames so far, but whatever. And then at this point I would use hover frames again and hold left and just make your way so that you intersect the side of the ramp. Obviously I haven't been using hover frames, that's why I wasn't nowhere near. So I'll actually do an attempt now. Wrong frame. Just missed it. But you can see the idea here. You need to fully intersect the side of the ramp. It's pretty precise. There we go. So now you just saw on just above the screen right now, there was a little thing sticking out the side of the ramp. From there to the bottom of the ramp, we want to end up about 3/4 down it. There's a little green arrow pad on the other side of the ramp. That's about halfway down, so then halfway between that and the bottom, where there are some speed pads. So yeah, we're going to be charging our spin dash down here, and say you join at the very top, then if you just run all the way down, then you'll end up in the lower quarter, so about where you want to be. We joined about not at the top, about a quarter way down to a halfway down, so we're going to want to wiggle shadow. Now if you just go right left right left right left, he will move very slowly, and so if you can literally run right at the bottom and just wiggle, and you can even move yourself up the ramp, because when you're going that slowly you actually can do that. The ramp's thick enough. You can wiggle, and then you would go even slower when you barely move at all when you're in the ball if you've wiggled. So I'm not sure I'll be able to do it from this position, but also for this first bit, now that you're on the ramp, you want to go A, B, pause to do the pause advance, and then just continue to hold B so you spin dash. Just reminder. That's another reason why I have B on left bumper. Yeah, that was never going to work because I wasn't in the rhythm, I suppose. So yeah, you saw all the wiggling I did then. That was pretty good. We're at a good height here. As you can see, the speed pad's here, the arrow's there, and we're exactly in the middle. We could probably be a bit lower, like where this blue hand is right now, but this is fine. So yeah, just holding left trigger, going to get the camera behind us. The camera is pretty much exactly behind us. This is exactly where we want to be, so I'm just going to set a save state here. I will like frame advance to get the camera to be exactly behind me. I'm just going to quickly pull up a different view right now. So this is my monitor. It's a pretty bad setup, I know. This is Jelly's kill plane viewer at the bottom right here. You can see the kill planes, how they're like slanted like this. There we go. And you've got to kind of wiggle your way around them and then turn around. That's the gap that we're trying to get through. But not only that, we always have to face down pretty much, because to keep skew gravity you need to be above a speed threshold. The lower you are, the greater your speed. And there's a few ways we're going to... Because if we just head straight down from here, we're always going to hit the kill plane, so we need to go up a bit at some point. And so the speed we get straight away from jumping off, that counts towards our speed. So we can go up a bit at that point, because we're still not going to be below the speed threshold. When that initial jump speed is worn off, which I have a visual cue for, we're then going to use our hover frames, because our hover frames give us speed, so we can then go up a bit during that second that we're using our hover frames, and then we've got to go down again. And you actually have to go down quite sharply for that part, because you're going quite slow at that point. And even like you could hold down sharply, and then just as we're in the final stages of it, as we're about to turn around, you can lose gravity. You have to even drop down as the time goes on. You've really got to be pointing down there, unfortunately. So it can be quite tight. So go back to this. Okay, so hold both triggers, which I'm doing with my middle fingers. Spin dash, and then unpause, and we're going to hold about this angle. Like shadow's pretty much straight here, if not pointing slightly up. We would want to point just a bit slightly up, but we're a bit higher than we would normally be, so we're going to go with that. And then I'm going to jump, going up a bit. If we just go up, or even straight, we're probably going to hit the kill plane, so you need to go just up a bit and then down. And then I'll show you the kill plane, sorry, the visual cue that we're going to hit here. Oh, I forgot to mention, jumping off here, you have like, for where we are right now, we have about 2 frames to work with, if not 1 frame. And so, because I normally do spin dash jumping with B and A, and now we're using it with left bumper and A, I'm just not very good at it. And this has to be super precise. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pause buffer it. And you've got to have a frame of nothing between letting go of spin dash and jumping. You've got to have a frame of releasing spin dash before you can then jump. So I'm going to do a single frame advance to get that frame, while not holding B. And then I'm going to do pause A to jump. So it's similar to a frame perfect pause hover, except a frame perfect pause hover has A and pause on the same frame to start with. This has to be A and then pause. And then, depending on where you are on the ramp, if you're right at the back, you can have like 3, maybe 2 frames to work with. Here we just have, it's got to be perfect, or maybe you've got 1 frame to spare. So yeah, it's tough. So, oh, I forgot to point it out. Oops. Oh, wow, sorry, my muscle memory is just telling me to press A as soon as I press pause. I meant to just press pause and then hold it there. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. This structure here, so there's these 2 structures, this, when about a half of it is fully off screen, that's my cue to start using my hover frames. So we'll just go back to the start, and then I'll use my frames for a second, and then I'm going to spend another second just pointing downwards, and then it's at that time that we're past the kill plane at that point, so we can start turning around. So I'll get to that point now. I'll go a bit further. Oh, yeah, because I let go of R. I tried. Okay, we've probably gone a bit too far out here, but there's really no such thing as too far out unless you actually lose gravity. So at this point, what I'm going to do is hold upright and just left for 0.3 seconds. Okay, that's about 0.3. I actually have the kill plane through up here, and we're good. I'll actually get it up. It's a good idea just to show you it. Yeah, as you can see, we're just around the side of the kill plane now, so we're turning around, we're fine. Okay, and so I only figured out how to do this today really because there's so many parts to it. At this point, you were holding upright. We're going to stop holding left, and you want to just turn around, like go up, go from upright to straight to just uplift a little bit. And there's kind of a specific timing for it. I have no idea how Daesh does this all the time unbuffered. So we're just going to like not pause advance it, but just like pause here. Okay, now Shadow was just falling sideways a bit, and then in that last like section of play, that 0.1 seconds or whatever it was, Shadow was falling to the right faster. It's at that point where if we hold upright any longer, he's going to lose gravity. We need to hold up a bit, and now you can probably do that for a little bit longer, but we don't have to. Now you want to hold a very specific angle, the one that I'm holding right now. There's a red dot on my input display that angle covers. I'll try and find a way to put this image in the description below. This is just the exact angle that you want to hold. And it's because we're trying to do a partial gravity reset here. Partial gravity resets happen when you go below the speed threshold for 1 to 3 frames and then go above it again, and the angle that you will end up getting is different on each frame. We need to go below the speed threshold for 2 frames and then go above it again to get the angle to go to the gold ring. And if you hold this angle, you've got a pretty good chance of getting it. It's not 100%, unfortunately, but let's try it out. Come on, mate. There we go. And let's see. We got it. And so now we're going to move down just a little bit until Shadow is about here. So like these two structures is what I go for. This one here, this one here. You'll be a little bit to the right. If like you draw the line between them, if Shadow's hand is poking over it, you're not going to go wrong. Where was I? I was like there. And then at like, I don't know, 37 seconds or something, gold ring will come into view. And then if you've got to this point, you're pretty good at the video game. You can do the rest. There we go. That's how you do FC skip. I now still have something else to go over, and that's what you're doing when you're going from restart. So I said that I believe it's easier to do this from first load. That's because the height you are navigating towards the side of the rampart is different when you're doing it from a restart. Oh, I should restart. That would help. First of all, you have to pause at 820 instead, so a frame later than last time. I'm going to set another save state there. This is the angle that you'll be jumping off at if you do it correctly. As you can see, we're already going much higher. Going to do the same pattern, like hold right until about 8.75, and then forward until 9, and then forward without hover frames until 9.25. I'll just give it a shot so you can see what I mean. We're much higher, aren't we? Like, here's this thing already. By the time we're here, we're like way below this. But we need to be below that thing. If you go above it, or if you hit that thing, well, as in like you start running on it, then it's game over instantly. So the beautiful thing is though, if you say you do hit the side of it and then you just start falling down without moving to the side much, you can still get back on at a reasonable height because you were so high to start with. If you join at the very top of this, then if you run all the way down, you'll be about the height that you want to be. If you're where we are, which is about the height we'd be at normally, if we paused at 8.19, so I did this from first load, then would be good. I don't know if that came out properly, I'm going to say it again. This is about the height we'd normally get to if we were doing it from first load, so we can just do whatever movement I did last time with the wiggles. I'm going to try and show me getting on from the very top this time. Oh, so what happened there was, as you see, I paused at like 8.65. I was nowhere near enough right, so when I tried to hold the left trigger, it wouldn't do it because I hadn't gone past a certain camera trigger yet. So that's one way you can fail this. So I'm not getting on at the top, but... And we're a bit low on this one. But like, trust me when I say that if you're at the top, you can pretty much just run straight all the way down. So yeah, this is a bit low, but like you can still do it. We're actually not a good... like, we could be better placed on the ramp here. We could be further back. This isn't a very good attempt. If you were just trying to do FC skip once ever, and this is what you get, just restart. We were so close to getting on right at the top then. It is finicky getting on the side of the ramp here. It's very annoying. This looks good. Ah. Anyway, you kind of get the picture for what I'm saying. But I just want to show me doing it like successfully one more time, especially with the wiggle. Except I can't jump off at the right frame anymore. Well, you saw me get on at the top, then I just failed a pause over. Pause over, pause advance. One thing this skip will teach you is how to be good at pause advances, because it's just like you either get good or you're not going to do the skip. That was woeful. I appreciate I'm just failing a lot here. Hopefully I'll get it very soon, if not I'll just end it anyway. We did it, and now we're just running all the way down. Okay, so I accidentally fell off the side of it then, but you can see the height where I'm at. This is about exactly the height we want to be at. So no wiggling was necessary there. And yeah, so you saw like me attempt to get onto the side of the ramp. You see me fail, you see me succeed. Even if you get on the ramp about this height, you can still get on. Like, you can still be fine with wiggling. You'll end up very low, so you'll kind of struggle to do it, because you really can help yourself by getting at an optimal position on there between the speed pad and the green arrow. If you're close to the green arrow, you're going to struggle, because you're going to have to... Your little M shape that you have to do in the air, where you go up, down, you're going to have to, like, go up, obviously, so you have... Because if you angle yourself up, then you've got more space in front of you to get your jump off. So it's good to do that, but then you're going to have to hold down immediately, and then hold up again pretty sharply, and then down again. And because of how sharply you had to hold down, you're probably going to be pretty close to the kill place, you might not make it. Adversely, if you are very low to start with, then you're going to have to hold pretty high up to start with while you have the most amount of speed, so you can afford to do that. Just so you don't hit, like, you're not guaranteed to hit the kill plane, but then you end up having less speed during the rest of the sections. So when you're doing your hover frames, you won't be able to hold up, you'll have to hold straight. That's an important thing. And then you're going to hold down again, and it just becomes a lot more precise. You really, really can help yourself by getting into an optimal spot on here. And if you do, then the rest of it is consistent. Like, you can reasonably get that every time. It's just annoying that, like, all the windows are so precise, like jumping off of here. It's finicky getting off there, it's precise jumping off the rail at the right time. And then I showed the rest of it getting on there. And then it's annoying as well that even if you hold the right angle, sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes you'll partial gravity reset a different amount of frames, and so you'll be pointing a different direction. Shadow will be rather than the one you're supposed to. Sometimes I'll just fall. It's annoying. So if you fall, then you won't below for 4 frames or more, and it's like, no, I'm out of here. So just one last thing that I've just noticed, and that's you can see the collision of the side of the ramp here that Shadow's on. It looks like on here that Shadow is quite far to the edge of the ramp, but if you then look at the kill plane view, he has still a little bit of room to work with. So this ramp is a bit deceiving. You can be like fully on the edge of the yellow and you're okay. So don't shy away from that. You want to be like in the middle of the yellow, I would say, optimally. Not too far back. So not too far forward, but a safe amount back. Like you're not risking falling off that way. I know Dage does like pause to move down this ramp, and if you're just running all the way from the top, then you can probably get away with that. But I always want to A pause, so you can do like the wiggles, and just everything else is just so much more controlled. That's about it from me. There's not really anything else that I can think of. I've already tried to do this tutorial a few times, but I just sucked. I've done okay here, I think. This trick is just really hard. Right now only me and Dage have done this trick, so let's hope some more people can do it because of this. Yeah, cheers.